Today! Or the day of writing this script, the new mythical Pokemon Zarude was revealed. Like always, though, I had to wonder why. Why get a gorilla-looking thing after we already have a gorilla-looking starter? It's the same thing with Scorbunny here. Why are we getting a white rabbit-looking thing when we have a white rabbit-looking starter in the same Gen 2? What's going on? Is the next one going to be a blue lizard-looking thing? That's not the big question of the day, though. The big question of the day is, why is a monkey ape thing in Britain? And like always, it's complicated. If you saw our Every Pokemon Design of Gen 8 Explained video, then you would remember Alfred the Gorilla, who partially inspired Rillaboom and its whole line. But Alfred was a kind-hearted ape loved by many. Zarude is literally named The Rude, the same naming scheme as Zamazenta and Zacian, as in the magenta and the cyan. And it's dark typing too. It makes me doubt that Alfred is our inspiration this time. Plus, it's a monkey. It's got a tail, so even if it's gorilla colors, it's still a monkey. Notably, there is a monkey cryptid in Britain that we will talk about later. But the Western world has an interesting fascination and history with these apes and monkeys. But for that, we need to go back. Way back. So
it's rewind time.
Humanity has always been interested in the unknown, and Europe was no different. And because, let's just say because of reasons to keep it simple, Spain and Britain and a couple other countries were dividing up parts of the not Europe world, let's just call it that, the not Europe world, and saying that they can explore and take advantage of the people that lived there and colonize any part of it. It's the New World especially, but all of this pre-planning for all of the not Europe was done to prevent land disputes over colonies and stuff. But this began the era of exploration, trade, discovery, adventure, and a lot of lying. This era obviously influenced pop culture a lot. And before we get into the ape pop culture, let's go over some cool other bits that were inspired, like Buffalo Bill and the thousands of comics about his adventures and eventually his Wild West show that helped popularize Westerns and also introduced the world to some cool figures like Annie Oakley and Sitting Bull. Also Mohawks. See, the Mohawk was a hairdo that came from the Mohawk tribe. A bunch of rich young hoodlum people then in Britain at one point ran around with Mohawks and caused havoc while pretending to be wild Indians. I mean, to old Britain, Indians were seen as savages due to their constant wars with them and later on the wars with the United States. And at that point, all of the news that Europe got about these wild savage people were from Americans, an American perspective, which of course was exaggerated and heavily demonized them. So in Europe especially, Native Americans were seen as wild people. So now if you're a punk and you want to be seen as a wild person, a savage disruption to a civilized person in power, well, you give yourself a mohawk. And thus, various wild mohawk, stereotypically punky hairstyles came to be, which might be a part of Zarude due to the whole two mohawk-ish style thing, after all. Plus of the dark type and the, like, skeleton-esque-ness. All very punky. But anyway, adventurers! They're going all over the place. Places like Africa, Indonesia, South America, and they all came back with stories of massive lizards, black-teeth cannibals, and giant, almost human-like apes. And a lot of these stories were based on reality, but over-exaggerated. Though, of course, others were straight-up, bald-faced lies. But for a good long time, Britain had quite the fascination with great apes like chimps, bonobos, orangutans, and gorillas. And I know what you're thinking. No, Zarude's got a tail. It's not an ape. But like, Infernape has a tail. Pokemon don't care. Also, like I said, we already got a gorilla starter, so if you wanted to design another Pokemon based after a gorilla, just do so and slap a tail on it. At least it's not an ape again. But also, like, Zarude is pulling elements from all over. Like, take the body of a mandrill with the limb ratios and the claws and fangs, but then give it a lemur face? And gorilla or gibbon colors? But a spider monkey tail? It's a Pokemon. Most Pokemon aren't just one thing. The best ones pull from several, thus are much more than just a cartoon Yorkshire Terrier. Also, I'm not finished. I'm just tangentially distracting myself and filling time. So Britain loved these apes, and of course that means pop culture would start to reflect this love, which is what got us the likes of Tarzan and King Kong. The Book of Tarzan is about a British family who gets lost in the jungle during one of these expeditions, and after the parents die, the son winds up becoming a man raised by apes. And this man, Tarzan, does some things that are important for the design of Zarude. In the first book, yes, the first book, there are actually a bunch of them. One group of Westerners that Tarzan comes across are frightened by Tarzan as he hides in the jungle and throws human skulls into the camp, scaring them into thinking they are being haunted by an evil jungle spirit. And well, Zarude is a dark grass type, like an evil spirit of the jungle, and he has a skull face pattern and ribcage pattern on its body, and he can go full-on Evil Dead onto someone with those vine arms. Speaking of which, those vines can be inspired by the stereotypical swinging through forests on vines trope, which clearly is a very common thing in depictions of Tarzan. It's sort of what started the trope. But the next thing is King Kong. The guy that made King Kong loved gorillas because he saw them as noble animals, a trait of royalty. And purple is the color of royalty, and in the movie trailer, it's wearing purple. Yes! But this dude, MC Cooper, was inspired to make King Kong after hearing a rumor about gorillas occasionally running out of the jungle and grabbing a woman and running back into the jungle. It wasn't remotely true, but people lied a lot for attention. I don't know why I said that in past tense. But a tangential fun fact, his original idea was to get a Komodo dragon and have it fight a gorilla and then edit it to make the gorilla win. And then he was going to release the gorilla into New York and film that and do the rest of the movie with a guy in a costume, but that plan fell through. Not because of pitting two animals into a deathmatch, though. It was another time. Back then it was cool. But rather, it fell through because he couldn't get the license to set a gorilla loose in New York. Apparently, that's hard to do. So when that plan fell through, the studio showed him the power of stop motion by showing him footage of a dinosaur toy moving, and he got the idea to make a gorilla be huge and fight dinosaurs, and that's how King Kong was born. But now, the main reason we're thinking King Kong is likely, at least partially, an inspiration is just because King Kong is a kaiju, and Dynamax is a kaiju too, and kidnapping women is also a pretty dark type thing to do. And also, it's a kaiju. I love saying that. King Kong, the original Western kaiju. It's just a gorilla. Now let's talk about that British cryptid I mentioned. It's known as the Shug Monkey. This creature, with monkey and dog features, was said to haunt Slow Hill Lane in Cambridgeshire, which was overgrown with plants at the time, and its body was jet black, like Zarude. And to quote an officer that grew up on these stories, it is described like this: a cross between a big, rough-coated dog and a monkey with big, shining eyes. Sometimes it would shuffle along on its hind legs, and other times it would whiz past on all fours. Sounds like Zarude. Urban legends are fun. Similarly, there's also the Karoo ape. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but it's a Karoo ape. It's said to haunt Karoo Castle, which is found in Wales. The Brits really did love these creatures. But now let's talk about some odd traits about Zarude, like the healing this Pokemon can do, and its choice of living in groups. According to the official description, along with being able to grow and swing on its vines, the vines also have a healing property. This is way cool. See, orangutans are brilliant animals, and they actually know about some simple medicines. They know that some plants can be chewed up into a paste and then rubbed onto muscles and wounds to help them relax and heal. And then there's things like living in a pack. Most apes and monkeys live in groups, but it's weird because it's a mythical Pokemon. Normally those come in singles, but not always. There are a number of Genesect, for example, and Manaphy is able to breed, so, you know. But it makes me wonder if this pack it lives with is more Zarude's, or if it's like a pack of Passimian or something. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a small pack of Zarude, though. Many species of primates are critically endangered, to the point where they are so rare that you could very well call the entire group of them mythical. Bands of gorillas are super hard to track and come by, as certain species only have populations around 5,000 globally. But looking at the swinging and long arms and coloration of Zarude, I immediately think gibbon, but with a tail. Like maybe the black-crested gibbon, of which there are only about 1,500 left. The Myanmar snub-nosed monkey has long arms, a tail, and is black with a white face and dark gray underside, all just like Zarude, and there are only about 300 of them left. And following suit with the tail and the coloration, Pereir's sifaka is one of the most endangered animals of all, with only 230 estimated at most. Heck, that's a whole group, but none come close to the Hainan black-crested gibbon that I am probably mispronouncing again, whose population is currently less than 20. That's easily one small group, one pack. A rare, near mythical pack. Being the last of your species would certainly make you upset. Start acting dark type even. So perhaps these similar looking creatures play a part in its inspiration. But also maybe not. You know, the Pokemon was just revealed, so who knows at this point? There's still so many details we need to go into. Have anything to add? Let me know down below. And until next time, please remember to never stop using your noggin. And don't be Zarude guy over there. Your merchandise. You gotta sit nice. That is going to fall at some point, and it will add humor.